you ever do anything about Star Wars, man, let me know. I'll come on and speak my mind.
And we're back.
Oh, with that, huh?
All right, so yeah, this is mostly just trying to get used to using the software and making sure the windows are in the right places and getting used to recording and doing uploading, figuring out how that works. And so it's basically tonight's a test night.
All right. You gotta do all the editing and shit.
Well, currently there's no editing.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's just, it's all raw. Raw.
Raw and uncensored. Censored. I used to remember videos back in the day when they would have censored over every. But yeah, you might remember it. What's that? Girls Gone Wild. They just show it all the time. It's all censored out and stuff. It's like, you want to buy it so you can see what's behind these black squares.
To be 12 again.
God, that was 12 for you? Holy shit.
Well, it depends on the year. If you're talking about
I was in the teens at least.
If you're talking about the mid 90s, then yeah, I was like 15.
Yeah, it might have been maybe toward the end of the 90s even, but well, it maybe started up kind of in like 94, 95, and it got drastically more revealing as the commercials went on over the years, and I think they took them to court or something.
Probably. Somebody sued them.
They were doing well because they were also doing things with the girls that they probably shouldn't be doing in private buses.
Ah.
I think there's a documentary about it too.
Huh. I didn't know about a lot of that, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, they were making them, because obviously they wanted them to take off their clothes and everything else for the videos that they're selling, but some of the girls, they were making them, well, once you do this to her or do that to her, and then next thing you know, I guess there was a whole thing went down. There's a documentary about it. It's kind of interesting.
That's why you have to sign paperwork.
Well, they did.
And even then.
Problem is they didn't check or verify their age. They just went off their fake IDs because they were picking them up right off
that's how you get into trouble.
Yeah. And then some other people that were going around getting these girls were, how they were all fucked up anyway. Whatever alcohol or whatever it was they were taking in. So obviously they're just grabbing girls and trying to make them do whatever, basically forcing them in some scenarios. Especially there was like this big scene that they were doing in a hotel once. They got these girls to come back, they were underage, and they started doing different shit, I guess, sexual stuff. And I think there's a big thing happened with that. I think that's how a lot of the other stuff started coming out about it, which caused them to essentially go under.
I always wondered why that went away. Now I know.
Yeah.
Now we all know.
Part of it was. Oh well, yeah. There you go, stream. This trio of Girls Gone Wild. Wow. Some of y'all haven't seen them in a while, and some of y'all never saw them at all. I'm a coming. There ain't no wind getting your way.
Yeah, I would also like to do videos like, discussion videos about nerd stuff, Star Wars and stuff like that, and of course,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you want to talk with me about Star Wars because you probably won't like me anymore.
Oh well, let's start the conversation. Why? Why? See, now you got me curious of why you would even say it. I don't typically, if people like or don't like different things when it comes to Star Wars, I don't. I'm not one of those kind of Star Wars people who are like freak out. It- So I don't know, but try me.
Well,
Let me guess, you don't
I've
like
said
any of the Star Wars.
I've said before. I've said this before. I think I don't know if you were a part of that conversation or not, but I'm pretty sure I have said it before. But I'll say it again. You know, in the '80s, I used to claim to be a religiously loyal Star Wars fan. Like I loved everything about it. Then the prequels came out. And then I had to change my tune and go, well, I love Star Wars, but I just don't like the prequels. And now I have to say, for people to understand, that I hate Star Wars except for the original trilogy.
There's nothing wrong with any of your statements.
I mean, to me, everything that's come after Jedi, it's just like, to me, it's just fan fiction. I just don't. It's not canon to me.
Well, I mean, the prequels, you kind of have to really fully count them as canon because of George. I mean, they were, whether you liked them or not, whether you thought they were wordy, the fight scenes were amazing. The technology that he wished he had when he made the originals, he got to play with. I mean, there's a remix to the Obi-Wan Darth Vader fight scene on the Death Star.
I've seen that. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
It's pretty cool. And it's just some of those things I'm like, man, if he only had technology then, I mean, just think of some of the fights. But at the same time, I didn't like there was things about the prequels I didn't like, primarily because it was like parts of it was like, man, I mean, it's just extra wordy, clunky word dialogue and stuff. It just, especially the romantic scenes with Padme and Anakin were just kind of like, what in the hell are y'all even talking about?
Here's the thing. I like the prequels better than anything Disney's done. Now, granted, Disney has done some things that were cool. I'll give it that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole other can of worms. But like,
they could have done a really good job with some of the storyline. It felt like they were kind of leaning toward with the sequels. Unfortunately, they made the first one too much like A New Hope. The second one was like, throw all that out the window.
mm-hmm.
And the third one, after like no one had a clue about anything was going on with any of the characters.
Well, I don't.
And
that's the thing. Is like
that was my biggest issue.
I mean, I had.
All these, by the way, are attacking us.
All of them?
Every one of them. Sandstorm, Shark, and Balin.
Okay. Well, isn't that something? Yeah, the prequels, it's, to me, it's just having my entire childhood and teenage years to envision what the prequels would be. It just wasn't it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it did not feel or look or sound like anything that Obi-Wan was talking about in New Hope.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
Obi-Wan series.
it just wasn't there for me. I mean, the Obi-Wan series, I saw one episode of it, and then I checked out.
Yeah,
But
it's just a shame because they could have done a good job, but really that story has already been told. The only thing that story that they could have really brought in was, and what they did is they brought the Wookiee in on the Boba Fett show, but um,
I didn't like that either.
uh,
But
well, he actually in the comics goes after Obi-Wan because he's actually trying to go after Anakin. I mean, I'm sorry, Luke. Not that he knew he was a chosen one, but there was just something about the family. I can't remember the full storyline, but Black Krrsantan, he ends up getting in a fight with Obi-Wan, and that's how he gets the scar. Which, ironically, in Boba Fett, the show, you see a scar on his eye that looks like it's been healing. So they would have put it a few years after that event, but they didn't do that on the Obi-Wan show, and one, they didn't really need to do a show for it, but if they were going to do one, just make it make sense.
see, I don't even know what you're talking about. But okay, I'll take your word on it.
Yeah. Yeah, figures. But yeah, I mean, as far as the movies go, Disney really, although they probably would have fucked it up, but Kathleen Kennedy talking about how she was on record as stating there's no books or materials that they can look back on to create movies and shows, and I'm like, there's so much stuff out there. There's books and comics and everything, games, and it's like they don't understand that. You have Knights of the Old Republic. If you wanted to do something fresh and new in the sense of Star Wars movies and not kind of go back to the whole Skywalker chain again, they could have easily went off of Knights of the Old Republic storyline with Revan and that whole storyline. I mean, there's a lot of material there. But again, I don't know. They acted like there was nothing out there for them to choose from.
Nothing that approved by their narrative, I'm sure.
Right. Now, Andor was good, but you had to really not think of the Force really with that show. It was more grounded in spies and shit.
I have not seen Andor. I've only seen clips of it.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen, it looks like a really well done show, well written, well acted, what have you. I think that the biggest problem that show has is that it's in Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If they had just changed the names and put it in a different universe and call it something else, it would have been bigger than the Game of Thrones. I mean, from what I saw, at least.
Yeah. I mean, it got really good ratings, supposedly, but I did like the show, but it wasn't, like you said. I mean, or like I was saying earlier, you kind of have to forget it's Star Wars.
Right, which defeats
in the realm of it.
Defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Which
is
why
that show was horrible.
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes of that and I was out.
Which the one thing I was really surprised at is how they brought him back. Which there was a book or a comic or something that brought him back that same way, where he basically called his way out of the Sarlacc pit.
Right, but why was there a stormtrooper in there?
Because there could have been a stormtrooper in there. The Sarlacc.
I mean,
anything that falls down there could have been eaten.
I mean, it just why?
Now this curse
is
on me.
Makes no sense.
Well, that doesn't necessarily not make sense. I mean, during that fight on Jabba the Hutt's
there was
area,
no Imperials there, though.
No, it wasn't, but it's an area that he could have taken, or anyone could have been taken at some point in time.
Like
it's not something that's like out of the ordinary that could or could not have happened.
I was expecting them to at least put some of the other guys that fell in during Return of the Jedi, but they didn't.
Well, but their armor wouldn't have lasted. Now the stormtroopers would have lasted a little bit longer. Now Boba's pretty much would have lasted forever.
I don't know. I just refuse to accept any of it. I could sleep better at night if I just don't accept any of it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you.
I mean, there's some good ideas.
It hasn't been the greatest years for Star Wars for sure. Disney has pretty much tanked it.
Yeah. Well,
unfortunately.
They had some good ideas, I think. You know,
well, the Mando, the Mandalorian was good for the first 2 seasons. Now I wanted Yoda, baby Yoda, basically Grogu. I wanted him to be gone pretty much right away. Like I didn't want it to be ended up centered around him, but then that's pretty much what they started doing.
And
season 3 was, yeah.
I've seen, again, much like Andor, I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I haven't actually seen it.
Like I said, the first 2 seasons were really good. They did a really good job in different aspects of character building and stuff. And it felt like, I mean, if you ever played an MMO, it was kind of feeling like that. So like every time he would complete something, he'd go back and he would get paid to get more Beskar, in which he would turn into new armor. So it's kind of like, you know, you're kind of like, okay, that's kind of a cool take on it. I mean, he's a bounty hunter, of course, and he's gonna need to get repairs on different shit. And he was getting upgrades throughout the first 2 seasons, and then it was like all of a sudden it was like we kind of went away from everything, and some things I felt like got sped up, and some things we didn't really need. Some things they, you know, tickled with but didn't carry through with it. Now they're going to do a movie based off of it. I mean, the Ahsoka show, that could have been really good too. And as Dave Filoni's, you know, character, man, I would have thought he would have done better. However, they are bringing back. Did you ever watch any of the Clone Wars anime?
I watched the CG version.
I mean, the cartoon version, animation version.
Well, because there was the Clone Wars cartoon, and then there was the 3D animated, you know, CG.
No, not that one. That one's garbage. That one they pretty much threw away and said it doesn't tie into anything. The actual animated series. That one, there's a part where Anakin and Obi-Wan basically go to a certain planet and they run into the father, the son, and the daughter, right? And that kind of Star Wars or Jedi lore type stuff, or the Force lore, I guess you can say. And that was a really good storyline. I think it went 3 episodes. Ahsoka dies, and he brings her. The daughter sacrifices herself to bring her back, and one of the daughters kind of representing herself or form is of an owl. And ever since they brought Ahsoka back from that, there's always been like these different owls that are not different owls, the same owl, but always around her in every other season or anything she's in. If you look in the background, sometimes you'll see it. And now in Ahsoka, the show, you know, they're going into with Balin and what he was doing, and that's where he's going. He's going to run into and try to find the father and the son, because that's really who's left at this moment. But the mother, there was a mother, but she wasn't really their mother. She was this mortal who they did some stuff to have her become immortal so she could live with them forever. And when she went through that transformation, she is the dark side. I mean, she is psycho crazy. So if they run into her during this, that could be some cool stuff too. But it all depends on what they go with. All signs lead to that type of a storyline, but I've seen Disney fuck it up so many times that it's kind of getting
Oh,
laughable.
well, I mean, I have zero faith in Disney. Um, I mean, I understand why George sold it to them. He thought, you know what, the prequels were a disaster. No one liked them. Um, and maybe I should just sell this off to somebody who's got talent, somebody that knows what to do with this product, and that would be Disney. And George was horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Horribly wrong.
I think it would have been better off giving it to HBO.
Anything would have been better off, in my opinion. But I would have been happier, and this is well, it's easy for me to say it. I would have been happier if nothing happened. If they just stopped. I mean, and just left it where just let it lie. I mean, and just go, okay, there's no more Star Wars anything. We have the good trilogy, we have the bad trilogy, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm with you to a degree, but also as a fan, you want to see some of the stories that you seen or read about it. And I'm not so to the point where it has to follow the comic that I read to the fucking letter or anything like that. But if you're gonna pick different aspects to create one, just make sure it all makes sense. Don't take something from this time frame to some other completely different time frame and try to mold it together, because then the fans who know about it are going to be like, what the fuck? And when they complain, then everyone else then complains because that's all they hear. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think you have to make sure you're just doing it right. Like, there's so much material that if you're pulling from it, most fans know it, because they're, like you said, they're just let it lay. Well, it laid there for a long time before we even got the prequels. And then it laid there for even a little bit longer time before we ever got anything else other than the animated series.
Well,
so
I read the books. What was it? Higher to the Empire. I think it was a bunch. I read some of the books.
Heir to the Empire.
Heir to the Empire. That's what it was. Yeah, Heir to the Empire. Yeah. And a few of the other books from the late '80s, early '90s, and all. And I thought the stories were okay, but those weren't even good enough for me.
Okay.
Now, granted, I am very critical of Star Wars, more critical of that than any other IP, aside from maybe Lord of the Rings, because it was that important to me growing up. So,
right,
I'm extremely critical of that IP, and
and this is
like with Rogue One. I liked some elements of it. For an example, I thought the Death Troopers looked great. I thought that the TIE Strikers or whatever looked really cool. The new Walkers were interesting. The Shore Troopers looked nice, but I don't understand the logic behind them. But they look nice. I I hated the CG Tarkin. I was just like, just cast someone who looks like him. Don't do that. I hated how they really did a terrible job with James Earl Jones's voice for Vader in Rogue One. But I liked the scene where Vader goes down the hallway and is killing all the rebel soldiers and stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, that was
cool.
Now,
how
do we need everyone to have a hallway scene?
No, but the problem I had with that scene, though, even though it was cool, but it also doesn't make any sense. Because if Vader did that to try to get the plans the first time, why didn't he do that the second time after they board Princess Leia's ship?
Well, that was the boarding of Princess Leia's ship.
Right, but then the ship got away, and then he chases it down in episode 4 and boards it again, but this time he doesn't go in lightsaber blazing. Instead he lets the stormtroopers do it. It doesn't make any sense. Why would he do that at that point, but then not do it, an hour or two later?
No, well, that scene in of Rogue One was supposed to be his scene coming on to the ship on New Hope.
No, it was before.
No, it's supposed to be right. It's leading right into that.
Because the ship escapes. The ship gets away.
Right.
And
right, because he's
he's
detached, but he's still on there.
He's on.
Not on the ship. He's on the pathway to get to the bay to get onto the ship, basically. So it got detached, I believe. Well, I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, you might have to go back and watch it because the ship he's trying to get the plans, and they managed to detach the ship from the mothership, from the Mon Cal cruiser or whatever it was, and it launches off and leaves, and Vader's left standing there watching it leave, and there's stormtroopers behind him by that point. But that's not, and then, hours later he chases down Princess Leia's ship and then boards it again, but this time he doesn't use his lightsaber at all. I mean, the point I'm trying to get at is that it's a cool idea, and it's a cool scene, but I think it just needs to be in a different spot under different context.
Sure.
Because it just doesn't make any sense how they put that together. But the biggest problem that I have with Rogue One specifically is the fact that I don't like the script and the plot mostly. I don't like the fact that they have to come up with an explanation for the rebels to discover the weakness in the battle station. For however many decades with the original film, I always believed the rebels were just that smart. But it turns out, no, they're not smart at all. Actually, it was all just, connect the dots, paint by the numbers. Because it was all preordained.
Well,
I just feel like that kills, for me, personally, that kills the ingenuity of the rebellion. And on top of that, it's something that's totally so unnecessary to even lay out or explain, if that makes sense. Luck? Luck?
Yeah,
Are you there?
I could hear you. He
Okay.
was talking enough. I just didn't answer. What are you guys up to? I'm surprised y'all are still up.
We are we're talking about Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the show with Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock.
Star Trek.
Right, yeah, Star Wars. It's where the episode of Star Wars where Frodo takes the ring into the Fire Mountain.
I need a heal. Give me a second.
You got to heal up on
I
it.
didn't realize I don't know. I didn't realize. Started talking about Star Wars, and I forgot about playing the game.
That's understandable.
You got a sea skirmish over there by you guys, just so you're aware of it.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, man, dude, I was down for the count earlier today. I just ain't been feeling good the last few days.
Yeah, that's what we were. That's what we were thinking.
Yeah, and then I got up. I never really went to bed last night, only for a couple of hours. And went and got my truck sold and stuff today. And just by the time I made it home, I had to pull over on the ride back. You know, get out the car for a second so I didn't throw up. That's how bad it had gotten.
Mm.
Well, shoot, since you sold the truck, you buying the Neptuno?
No,
Oh,
no,
the red arrow.
I still can't
Oh, the red
come up
arrow?
off of that cash. I would have considered it a Neptuno. But I still, that's a little tight there, man. I don't have the value in it yet.
It's all right. Cheeky already bought one.
Did he really?
No.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I gotta turn Cheeky up.
You just got to go to his YouTube account and subscribe and like.
Oh, if that gets him a Neptuno, I'll do it. I don't subscribe to him. Yeah. Yeah, man. So it's just honestly been kind of a rough few days there.
Sounds like
And
it.
then I pulled up and I'm like, I bet these guys aren't even on. Because I kind of woke up and I was like, well, I'm going to be up for a little while now. Hell yeah. Are you guys getting off soon?
I mean, I'm probably be on for at least another couple hours. We're just out here really just destroying ships because I want to get pirate tokens and then any cannon, anybody who's carrying cannons.
I hear you.
Man, I want to. I'm probably gonna. Do you have a Saint Martin luck or San Martin or whatever it's called?
No, I don't.
Now, do you have a Constitution?
I have San Martin.
No, I don't have either of those.
Well, so Cheeky has a Saint Martin, and they say it's a really good ship to go into to do arenas in. So I was thinking about making one, and then putting some cannons on there, and then checking to see what we can do out there.
Alright.
I'm gonna do that tonight. I'm just saying, like,
what cannons
be what I need to do.
What cannons does it pull, do you know? Probably
I think it's light.
cannons.
Yeah, it's probably light. Probably light cannons.
And we're playing against people, so we need the AT&T cannons. Okay. Alright. I'll have one licked up here in just a minute.
Oh shit.
Well, I'm almost.
A San Martinez?
Small. I'm almost sure I have enough material to build it. I'll find out in just a second.
The San Martinez or the Constitution?
Oh, the San Martinez.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have enough because it's yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have enough stuff for San Martin. And then it's a tier 5. That's what we want anyway.
Well, I mean, we can do some arenas then if we want. But I'd have to go see if I even have. Well, first of all, I want to try to get some money for. Well, I guess you can't get any more cannons for that anyway. For the pirates.
How many pirate tokens do you have?
I have 500 pirate tokens, but You can't get any of the cannons for the San Martin out there, right?
On
Light
my
cannons.
on my San Martin, I've got all 8-pounders on her. I think I got some 16 short barrels on her too. I think.
But the lights, right? You can't get them at the fire place.
The 16 pounders would be the cornades.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
carnage.
the short cannons.
Mm-hmm.
My intention with those is whenever playing against people, you want as long of a shot as you can get. That's
Yeah,
why
I
said
can.
the
I can swap them out.
Culvers are the ones. Now, in my opinion, you'd probably want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can swap them out because I think I've got enough 8-pounders for that.
Okay. So 11. That's nothing. 11 battle marks. Two beams. Oh, I don't have beams. I can in a minute.
Okay, folks. I'm gonna end it here. I'll see you next time.
Deuces.
Hey, bud. Good night.
He's not talking to us.
Oh, he's streaming. Okay.
Well, he's fake streaming.
Fake streaming.